Have you ever felt like a passenger in your relationship? A passenger that wants to fit into this relationship car and that even cuts off an arm and a leg to really fit into the car of this relationship with another person so that you can drive together and that you can go on this journey together. Then stay with us with Richard and Patricia and Raw and Real in Relationships.
Beyond the masks we wear and the roles we play lives a deeper truth about human connection. The most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. In Raw and Real in Relationships, Patricia Linder and Richard Morden guide listeners through authentic conversations about every connection that shapes our lives. Honest insights for transforming every relationship through self-discovery. Because when you truly know yourself, everything else changes.
I'm so glad, Richard, that we are together again and that we talk about being a passenger in a relationship. That might sound awkward, but isn't it something that happens so often, maybe even always, that in especially love relationships, the one or the other or both just give away aspects of themselves just to fit in and to never really be seen, heard, understood. In the end, feels really like being totally alone in this relationship. What's your perception of that or your idea?
I had this incredible visual when you were talking, Patricia, of the old wartime movies of the motorcycle and the sidecar. And you're in the sidecar and you're going along anytime that you could end up in a ditch or the sidecar breaks away and you're being you're going off into the river.
Exactly.
and you've got a helmet and goggles on and you're hanging on for dear life. How many people have had relationships like that? You're in the sidecar and you're thinking, I'm in a relationship, and you're hanging off of your life and you're going, what the hell's going on? Oh, I'm terrified because he can't hear me. Or she can't hear me.
Mm-hmm.
You're yelling and it's what? They're driving like a maniac and you're along for the ride. Many of us get relationships like that. And sometimes we have enough sense to leave or something happens. Sometimes we end up staying in them and never really find out who we are. And as you talk relationship, but the true relationship, really starts with yourself and finding out, what is it you want? Who are you? What are the identities you take on and the roles you want? How do you want to be engaged with? And number one for me is, how do you want to feel in this relationship? And I think if you don't really have those identification markers, then obviously you need to talk to Patricia and I more, because we can certainly help you find those pieces of you that you want to bring into the relationship, but it starts with you.
Yeah.
And if you don't know any of those, then we've got an outline for you to help you at least find some substance of yourself to start with, and then you can add on. That comes through experience and time.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Patricia?
I love what you just said, and if anyone out there feels triggered by our intro and by what we are talking about, that's nothing to blame anyone, because isn't it true that we all needed to fit in when we were young, when we were children, because we needed our parents to take care of us, and so we tried to be anything they want us to be, and we tried to fit in, and we tried to so I have another great visual that comes to my mind when I think about this phase where we do everything to be loved and to be not alone because we need someone. It's like cutting out pieces of ourselves and offering those pieces to our parents so that they are fine, that they feel well, so that they can take care of us. And that is like leaving us with holes that make us later on cut off an arm or a leg in a relationship. I don't know if this visual lands well, but to me it is in a very easy and simple explanation. It is exactly like that. And so it's not our fault, it's not your fault when you do that, but there's a way out. That is what we want to say.
Something I want to add too, when we cut these parts off, is we always put on costumes.
Yeah.
And we put on the behavior costumes, and we still take these up in our relationships, right? We cut off parts and we put on this costume to fit into relationship because we think that's what we need to do. This is the point. I need to fit into this relationship.
Yeah.
So that means you have to take parts of yourself and squeeze into this mold. And it's like, after time, where do I get to be me?
Yeah.
Well, knowing who you are at first is primary, then realizing where are your boundaries. If you have to fit into a relationship, into all their things, then there's ability to look at and say, do I really need to do that? Is this really worth it for me? Or can I do something else and still be whole of me? And so I think it's a big thing is, have we always fit into relationships? Have we always subdued ourselves to fit in? Or are we sick of that? And we want to be ourselves and yet still have quality relationships in our life. Is it possible? Yes, 100%. 100%. But it starts with you and how, the values you bring. And again, I go back to, how do you want to feel in this relationship? And what type of connection do you want? What type of support? What type of engagement do you want to have? What does that look like? You're not a dog. You're a human being with needs and values and standards and qualities and traits and all of that and more. When we embrace all those things and we need help to find all those pieces to put them together, we can look in a mirror and say, I'm proud of who I am. And now is there someone there that I can connect with, some friends and people and have a relationship that really fits this quality of myself, and where I feel worthy of myself in this relationship. And then you enhance that with the quality of someone else that you're going to attract.
Yeah. So we need to find out who we really are and what we want to create, who we want to become, finding ourselves and the authentic selves. And Richard, you said that it's oftentimes that we put on masks and costumes, and we show up as this persona of someone that we are not, oftentimes not even consciously. Sometimes it's something that is so deeply ingrained into our system, the cells, that we don't see that, or that we don't realize that. We just feel that we don't feel aligned, we don't feel well, we don't feel healthy, we don't feel happy, we don't feel fulfilled. We feel like something is missing. We feel like not seen, not heard, alone, lonely, even in a relationship. And again, this is nothing to really worry about as soon as there is this point of realization. Maybe by listening to our conversations, it's realizing, oh, there is something going on. And how can people get past this fear of, maybe, who am I without these costumes and masks? I'm afraid that then everything breaks apart. My relationship breaks apart, because then the other person might see my shadows, my holes, my stories, my truth, and might not love or like me anymore. How can people just move into this direction more fearlessly?
I don't know if it's fearlessly, but I think the desire to move into, because you realize maybe how empty you have been where you are.
Yeah.
Sometimes how hollow you have been. Many people have been in relationships and marriages for long periods of time, and we're finally looking in the mirror and go, like, you've raised families, like, who the hell am I?
Yeah.
What is it I really want to be? And I think for many, we're seeking connection, but we're seeking connection with ourselves first. I need to connect to myself. I need to feel at home in my own body. And I think that's a new space for many of us too, right? Being in our own body, and then finding our way from there. But coming home is primary. And I think, again, it's stuff that both Patricia and I do. That's the work we've done it ourselves in our own coming home and helping others with that. And then from there, you can start to build out. When you have you at home what else can be a priority for you that is value for yourself. And then if things change around you, that's life. I mean, life is temporary in many aspects. Sometimes the temporary can be many years, but still life is about change, evolution. And again, because we're here to have this experience inside of ourselves, and who do we become through this experience?
Yeah.
And after we look at that and enjoy and really want to embrace this experience, and we have to go through some trials to find ourselves and come home to ourselves and be with ourselves and be okay with ourselves.
Yeah, and I want to add a really vulnerable part to that, because when you said we seek, or the best thing is to find connection with ourselves, when people said that maybe 5, 10 years ago, I always felt like, what does this mean? I'm so much connected. I'm in my body. I know who I am. I want to be who I am. What does this mean, connected to myself? And in relationships, just by listening to what you said, this opened up those pictures, those past pictures. Not that I feel triggered anymore, but just to mention that in our conversation, I could be anyone that the other person wanted me to be. And I was so proud of, hey, I'm capable of adjusting. I can be superwoman. I can be that. I can be this. And the really darkest point was when I constantly felt like buried alive. That was really, I had those pictures in meditations when I contemplated on my life, that on the outside looked like, ooh, I want to live her life because she has everything. I felt like really buried alive because I was so disconnected from myself. And now it makes so much sense that through this journey, with working on myself with you, Richard, for example, and with others, and on my own with all my expertise, it brought me more and more to this point of realization. What does it mean to be connected with myself? And that is trusting that however I show up in a relationship, be it sad, be it all over the place, I'm totally fine. And I can tell the other person what I'm feeling, how I'm perceiving things, and what I want more of or less of. And I can go into a raw and real conversation in a relationship. And I'm really happy that this is what I can do right now.
Good point. Like you said, how many people feel buried alive in their relationships because you've taken on identities and roles and rescue and savior and all those things and realize it's not you.
Yeah.
How do I put those down? How do I put down the hammer
Yeah.
and start to take care of myself? And I've worked with clients that they've had to have a crash before they did it. Before they burnt out, before they realize they're exhausted, before they realize they look around their life and felt buried alive. And it may look from the exterior of all the wealth and trappings of that, and no disrespect to that, but it's if you've lost yourself to have this exterior when the interior is shallow and hollow.
Mhm.
Maybe it's time for a change or a conversation. Both of us are happy to have that conversation with you, just to see what else is possible for you.
Yeah, definitely. And if you feel like buried alive, or maybe not that bad, but that you cut off your left arm or your right leg or part of your head or whatever, then it is really high time to get aware of what is going on underneath the surface, and that there is something out for you to change and to shift and to feel more alive and more vibrant, and to have the very best relationship with yourself and also with a loving partner. And I think, Richard, that is a great point to really wrap it up. Is there anything that you would love to add at this point in time?
I think you said it well, as when you're ready to take care of yourself, then you can really start to look at who do I want, or who do I want to be in this next relationship, and how do I want to feel, and what does that look like? That takes real world testing.
Yeah.
It's not going to come out with, because we don't have everything together, never will. But we can test ourselves in, relationships and dating, and feel like we don't have to be obligated. This person really thinks a lot of me. That's not a way to continue a relationship if you're not feeling the same. Truthful with yourself.
Yeah.
And be willing to say no and set boundaries. And it all takes time and the journey, but the journey is worth every step.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the real world testing part, because
Yeah.
what we say, it's only words. It's great stuff, but it's only words. And then there is this active part, and there is trial and error. And I think that it only can be done and can be experienced. And I'm so grateful that you mentioned that, Richard. Thank you so much for listening to us, for watching our episode. Looking forward to talking about another amazing topic in raw and real in relationships with Richard and Patricia. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Remember, transformation isn't about perfection. It's about showing up authentically, one conversation at a time. Every relationship in your life has the potential to become deeper, more honest, and infinitely more fulfilling. But it starts with the courage to drop the mask and meet yourself exactly where you are. The work isn't always comfortable, but as Patricia and Richard demonstrate in every episode, it's always worth it. When you learn to love yourself fully, everyone around you feels the difference. Join us next time for Raw and Real in Relationships.